Hey you guys, I recently had a Chipotle interview and I thought I would share the interview questions because I know that's really sought out for, and I know like a lot of people on YouTube are curious and stuff like that. And this was like maybe a few weeks ago, and I made sure to jot down all of the questions they asked me just so I remembered what they asked and I could share it with you guys. So here I have my phone with some notes and then some paper notes here from what I did to prepare for the interview. So I think I applied on a Wednesday, and I got a call back that following Saturday, and then they scheduled an interview for Monday. So I had the weekend to pretty much do my research and figure out what are they gonna ask and stuff. The first thing I would recommend is watching the Chipotle documentary. There's a little 20-minute film about the background of Chipotle. I know this sounds like doing a bit much, but in the interview they ask you just the first question they ask you is what do you know about Chipotle? And so it's not like you have to answer it, but it sort of gives you those brownie points you need to stick out from the rest of the group. So yeah, it's sort of like you're studying for a quiz, but I don't know, it's up to you how far you want to study your things for your interview. I know I like to prepare, and I suggest others as well do the same. Another thing that they that you should know before you go to the interview is that they emphasize a lot on empowerment, I think, and something about what's a top performer. So you're sort of gonna need to know what that is. I don't know if I still have the site yet, but there was this little post. I don't know what it was, but it's a website that helped me figure out what should I prepare on to for the interview for Chipotle. And if I find it again, I'll leave the link down below, as well as a link to the video of the documentary, of the Chipotle documentary. I know people are wondering what were the interview questions they asked me, and honestly it wasn't even all that hard. They called me in for a group interview, and I studied for all of these things about empowerment and top performers and all of this junk I really didn't need to know, but I guess I did. And what happened was it was a group interview. I went in there. Okay, let me tell you what I was wearing first. I wore a Hanes scoop neck. It was like a t-shirt pretty much, and it was a black top, and I wore a statement necklace, and then what was it, just a black cardigan, black work pants, and just some black flats, whatever, right? And then light makeup and whatever. For guys, I saw them wearing button-ups and their slacks and whatever, nice dress shoes. So yeah, just go with something like that. That's what everybody was wearing. I know one girl wore one of those, a sweater. I don't know if you guys seen those sweaters, but they go like this, and they zip down to up to here. I don't know why she was wearing that. She must have been wearing, it was a cold morning, so she must have been wearing her, I don't know, her attire, her interview attire under that. But I suggest you look professional. Don't wear a crappy sweater if it's a cold day. But yeah. And then I got in there, and it was during the morning. I've heard of people like going into the Chipotle like during like rush hour and stuff like that while they're serving food and whatever. But no, mine was before like the restaurant opened. So there was a bunch of people in there. It was a group interview. And I go in there and I'm like, oh, I'm here for a group interview. And the lady just like sort of like shoots me over there. She's like, oh, go over there. So I go and I sit down and I'm like, oh, you guys like nervous and stuff? Like I'm trying to make conversation with the other people. And they're just like so quiet. They're all nervous and stuff. I think you should like sort of shake all of that like nervous vibes and stuff off of you and sort of like, you know, stand your ground and show like you're the one who's gonna get the job. And what else? Yeah, so it didn't take that long, and then like 3 managers come in, and 3 to 5, I don't know, I don't even remember, but a few managers come in and they introduce themselves, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna split you guys up, because it was like a few of us, maybe like 9 or 10 of us that were supposed to go in there, and like 3 managers split us up. So I was with one manager, and the others were with the other managers. At first I was with this guy manager. I think he was like the kitchen manager or something, I don't know, but he was a dude. He was very outgoing and like so peppy, and like he loves his job, and he talked about all of this crap like he loved his job and whatnot. And there was this other girl like with him, so it was 2 of them at the same time like interviewing us. I feel like they do that so like one of them can like look at you up and down, like all of you, and then the other like takes care of the interview process. I've had that happen to me before with other interviews, other group interviews. So it's sort of like to psych you out, but don't like worry about it. And then what else? Okay, so in my group there was like 2 other girls and some dude. So it was like 4 of us in total, and the guy, the manager, he introduces himself, the other lady introduced herself as well, and they like talk about what their job consisted of and like how they like it and stuff. And what they did, like they like give you like this they lecture you in about like Chipotle, like their message and all this like stuff. You really don't care at the moment, like you just want to like get on with it. But I would tell you to pay attention, because if you didn't watch the Chipotle documentary, it'd be best for you to listen to what they said. But if you watch the documentary before like going to your interview, you're okay, like you're gonna know what they're talking about. And like they mention all of this stuff, and I would pay attention, because sometimes they'll ask you like at the end, okay, so what does this mean? And they would have mentioned it in the beginning of the interview. So pay attention. And then yeah, so anyways, let me get on to like what happened. The dude that was with us, some other dude that was interviewing with us, he was like, oh, I'm so and so, blah blah blah, I'm actually a top performer. I was a top performer in my last Chipotle job. So like they put him aside, so because he had already worked at Chipotle, so he didn't have to go through the whole interview process. I guess he went through like a different one or something. But that's when the lady manager with us took him over somewhere else. So we were with the guy manager, and it was just 2 other girls and me. And the first question was like, introduce yourselves, I think. Okay, hold on. Let me get my shit together. Hold on. So before like going to the interview, I wrote down all of these questions that I felt like they may ask me. So I studied quite a few, and it turns out like they didn't really ask me that many. But from doing my research, I found out that you sometimes have to go through like the group interview, and then you go on a one-on-one with like 1 or 2 managers after, if you pass the group interview. After that, they make you go take another interview with like maybe 2 of the regular employees, and then you may go through like a 4th interview. So like there's these rumors and stuff about, you know, that the people working there have to like you for you to work there. So I'm not sure how it goes for everybody, but I'm just throwing out all this information so you guys can know. What do you know about the history of Chipotle? And this is where the documentary comes into play, where you can like talk about, oh, all of this stuff, blah blah blah. And so what I said was, okay, the other girls, they were like, what? Like they had no idea what he was talking about, like you should know stuff already before coming in. But I said like, oh, well, Stephen Els, like I raised my hand and I was like, yeah, I know a little. I was like, oh, Stephen Els was like a culinary student, and when he graduated he wanted to like open up a nice restaurant, but he didn't have all of the money, so he wanted to open like this fast food chain restaurant that serves like quality meals. And but then it turns out like he was the Chipotle was like the quality meals, like the nice restaurant he wanted to like throw out there. You'll understand what I'm talking about if you watch the documentary. And look at me, like I know all of this shit and I don't even need to know this, but I know it. I don't know. Yeah, so like that happens. And then I forgot what I said. Oh, I went to culinary school too, so I was like, oh yeah, and I kissed ass. I was like, yeah, and like I totally look up to that, and yeah, because I went to culinary school too, and it's my passion, and it's being so fake as fuck, but whatever. So yeah, let's see. So I said that, and like the manager, he was like, oh yeah, but I think we're like, he said something like we're getting off topic a little. I was like, what? I said like what I know about the history, and I'm just putting like, I'm throwing my 2 cents in there about like what I feel about it. And he's like, oh yeah, like I felt like it was something negative, but then like at the end I get called back to go for a second interview, but I'll get to that later. Like I feel like managers try to, like the interviewers try to psych you out, so don't get nervous or anything, but like you never know. Sometimes they never tell you whether you're doing good or not in the interview, just to like psych you out. Second question was like, how did you apply for this position? How did you apply for this position? Not why did you apply for this position, but how, okay? Like, read his lips when he says it. How? That's what he said. Okay, first girl, it was a square table, and one girl was sitting this way, and then there was another girl sitting behind me, and we were facing the interview like this. So there's a chick right here next to me, and there's one behind me. It was like a square table, and there's a wall like behind the other girl. So it was sort of unconventional for that girl behind me, but whatever. So this girl always went first, like she answered first all the time. And he was like, how did you apply for the position? It was sort of noisy, so like not many people, I don't think you need to hear what they're saying. And one girl, she was like, oh, I just applied online, and she was being quiet and stuff, and she had like her hand like this, and we were on the table, so she had her elbow on the table, and I can't remember if she was going like this or like this. And oh my god, you guys, don't do that. That's stupid. You'll never get the job. So don't fuck yourself over going like this or going like this. Like, what are you doing? Whispering? What are you doing? No. Okay? So like, you need to be like, have your chest out, like freaking tell them what you want, like what they want to hear. And yeah, I didn't know like why he wanted to know how we applied, but I just said like, oh, I just applied on the internet and stuff, you know, it was easy. And that's all I said, okay? And then he's like saying, yeah, or I forgot what he said, but it wasn't anything bad or anything. He was just like, yeah, a lot of people apply online and stuff. That's the only way you can apply, I think. Anyways, the girl behind me, I don't think she heard him well, or like she wasn't paying attention to the way his lips were moving, but I think she heard like, why did you apply here? Or yeah, like, why did you apply here? But that's not what he asked. He asked, how did you apply here? This chick, she goes and starts like giving us her life story, like, I worked at Toys R Us and I know how to use the PR system and oh blah blah blah, like I do this and that. Like, that's not what he asked. Pay attention, like you sound hecka stupid right now. So then that happened. I forgot what happened, but I don't think he like really said anything to her. The third question was, what are some of your past job experiences? And so like you had to talk about what you did at work and stuff, like pretty much your responsibilities. That was when you had to sell yourself, and this chick totally blew it for herself, but I guess she like repeated herself. And then I just talked about how I used to work at Macy's and stuff, and like what I did, like they trusted me with the key at the fragrance department, so like I was behind the glass all the time. I used to upsell, but I don't think that matters in the food industry. I don't know, I'm not sure. And I used to upsell, and I used to do all of these things. I try to make it food related. And then yeah, I think some girl, the girl over here, she said, the one that had her hand like this, she was like, oh, she was really quiet, and then she didn't really say much. And I was like, dude, this girl doesn't look like she wants the job. Like, don't go to a job interview expecting they're gonna give you the job if you're gonna be all quiet and stuff. Like, she's talking about how she didn't say anything. I think like the interviewer started asking her questions like, oh, did you like this? Did you do this? Did you do all of that? When your interviewer has to do that, like, he was upbeat and fun and stuff, but I don't think an interviewer should have to like peck at you for your information. Like, you should like throw it all out there. And yeah, that's bad. But yeah, I told them I was going to school. I made sure, like, I told everyone, like all of my interviewers and stuff, that I'm going to school. I'm a full-time student. So I think like if you're a student as well, you should throw that out there, because you don't want friggin' places wasting your time. Okay, so the last question was, what didn't you like about your previous job? And so here, I had no idea what to say, but thankfully I was like the second person to speak. So like the first girl, I had no idea what she said. The girl like next to me, I have no idea what she said, because I was like trying to think about what I was supposed to say. And I was like, you know what, I don't like that rare customer that used to come in and be all rude and stuff, but you know, after that you have to do, like, you have to turn it around and say something positive about it, so like they can see that you're a problem solver. So I was like, oh, but all you can do is like put a smile on your face and, you know, attend to the customer's needs and do all of this, make sure they leave happy and stuff. And that's exactly what I said. You just have to like be able to like move your way around these like tough questions and stuff. Also, yeah, so that was like the end of it. And then I left, and then like that same day they give me another call, and they're like, oh, would you like to come for a second interview tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I come in the next day, and it's the same time, like early in the morning again, when the restaurant hasn't opened. And someone else is there, so it's just two of us there. It's a guy, and then the manager comes out, one of the lady manager that sort of interviewed me yesterday, and she was like, oh, we lost the papers that they were jotting down yesterday and stuff. I've heard like that's really unprofessional and like typical of Chipotle to do. So I was just like, oh my god, this is bad. So she's like, okay, well, we're just gonna give you a tour of the kitchen and stuff, like of the back. So she gives us a tour of you know, behind the cash register, some girl is making the guac, and then there's another girl making like the corn and stuff, and like these, you have to like pay attention because the girl is like, not the girl, but the manager that will like give you a tour and stuff, they'll be like giving you information and stuff. They're gonna give you a little bit of history and whatnot, and all you have to do is like pay attention, make sure like you can ask some questions too, because that's gonna make you seem like you're very interested about the job. When the people are like telling you stuff, you should probably try to ask questions too, so it seems like you're very interested. So I saw them like making all of this stuff, and the restaurant wasn't even open yet, so I was like, oh, when do you guys like start your shift in the morning? And she was like, oh, 7 o'clock or 8 or whatever. And we go inside the fridge, and she like shows us all the fresh food. She's like, yeah, we don't have no freezer here because everything's fresh. Cool, whatever. We get out, we see the people making the corn, and the guy making the chips and stuff. If you ever get one of these tours, make sure you're interactive with this too, because you need to show that you're very interested. And then she takes us all the way to the back, and then some girl was like, oh, are those the new hires? And then she was like, no, I'm just interviewing them. And it went really well. So when me and the guy leave, he's like, oh girl, we practically have this job. I'll see you like when we go to work on Monday. So he was being funny, but no, I got like an email that same day saying like, oh, they like I pretty much don't get the job. For me, I think it was because of my schedule. I'm a full-time student. If you're a full-time student as well and you need a job, I suggest you like say you're not a full-time student or something. Just say you're available every day. Like, you could say you're a student, but just say like you're available every day. It's just in my application I said I wasn't available like these certain days, and that it was it's basically half of the week like I'm not available. So just, I don't know, if you can be like a ninja and dodge like school for Chipotle work, then I just suggest you like put that you're available all the time, even though you're not. But I don't know, I'm not up for that. So yeah. Oh, and I'm gonna share with you guys like the questions that I studied for. I just found these like at a website, and just to prepare myself, I'm gonna put the website down below if I find it, sorry. But I'm just gonna throw these questions out to you guys just so like you prepare as well. I think like it's best for you to know, like, get into the Chipotle mood if you really want this job. But here's the questions. Tell us about yourself. What do you know about Chipotle? That they did ask me. And then another one. Why do you want to work for Chipotle? Okay, something I would say would be like, you know, you appreciate like all of the great quality food they have here, but that's just my opinion. Go ahead and like elaborate and stuff, but I think like you should try to like say more. Don't just say like a sentence, oh, I love the food here. Like, don't say that, that's not cool. Also, you should know like what to say when they ask you like, what do you think you can offer if you were hired? So like, this is when you throw out your skills and stuff, and make sure like it goes well with like Chipotle, like food and cashier stuff, you know. And something I noticed too was like in my table everyone had in my interview, everyone had like past job experiences. The girl behind me worked at Toys R Us, and the other girl worked at Burger King. So I don't know how they are with like people without work history. So I'd be careful with that. I mean, if you're like me, I would probably put like, I worked at Pepe's Pizza, but it's your best friend Shanae on the other end of the phone, like, yeah, she worked here, blah blah blah. I don't know, you could probably get away with dumb shit like that. But oh yeah, so like another question was that I studied was, do you know what food with integrity means? And you will find out if you watch like the documentary, or if you go down to the website. I said I'll link it down below, and it's pretty much like that whole like the whole, what is it, like they do fresh food without pesticides, and they never like give you frozen food and whatever. Like you should probably say that, oh, it's when the meats and produce are naturally grown and raised. Everything is local and organic. Food with integrity makes a difference in how everything tastes. So yeah. And then another question that I studied was, what do you like about Chipotle? So make sure like you tell them what you like. And that doesn't mean like what's your favorite thing on the menu, okay? Don't say it unless they ask you, oh, what's the favorite thing like on the menu, you know? What's your favorite thing on the menu? Then you say burritos, burrito bowl, whatever. But you have to say something like, I don't know, there's so much effort put into the food by the Chipotle team that I would like to be a part of that, you know, just junk like that. And then, what else? Oh yeah, 3 qualities. They may ask you like, what are 3 qualities that you have? And they have, like, Chipotle has this thing about 13 qualities or something like that, that they try to find in interviewees. And there's like a list of 13 qualities in this website I'll give you guys, and I chose I am motivated, honest, and ambitious. I don't know about the honest part, but okay. Like, just try to sell yourself to be like the best person you can be. That's what an interview is about. And then at the end of an interview, you should always have a question to ask, even though they may have answered one. Like, try to build one up in your head. Let's see, you can ask them like, oh, what's your experience here in the store? Do you like it? Sometimes they may answer it already, but I don't know, sometimes you can just say like, oh, you already answered it and whatever, you know. And then you should always like know how to answer why should we hire you instead of the other person. I don't know, just like tell them your skills and whatever. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, like all I studied. No, wait, no. What is a top performer? Because they talk about top performers, I think, in the interview, but they didn't ask me. I just like made sure I knew what a top performer was, and it's someone who's more than willing to make themselves the best worker they could be, so that they could instill that knowledge into someone else and make that person like a top performer as well. And like you can build a team of top performers and stuff. Like I don't know, I think they have like this term there like for employees about being top performers and stuff. Look at me, I don't work there, but I like know what they want. So I hope this helps for anybody. If you have like special questions for me, I'll leave my social media down below so you can hit me up. Hopefully this was very thorough. I tried to make it really thorough. So yeah, If this helped you a lot, you got the job, let me know. Thumbs me up, comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.